For an instrument hardly 100 years old, the guitar is still in a state of evolution. The best guitar players are constantly looking for new ways to push the boundaries of expression with their instrument and create new sounds and techniques. In the 1980s, guitarists like Edward Van Halen, Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, and a host of others would light the way to a new form of musical expression by using tapping on the guitar. This technique would irrepressibly enter the lexicon of modern guitar. In fact, tapping is hardly limited to the guitar. Bass players like Stu Hamm and Billy Sheehan would also adapt this technique to their instrument and open the door to new possibilities. Welcome to GTR Episode 5. Episode 5 of GTR. This is Tapping 101. This is kind of a beginner to intermediate lesson. This is for people that are new to tap, that have never done it, that are like, oh, I've always wanted to learn that, and it's always been kind of alien. So that's what this episode is about, is kind of wrapping your head around the mechanics of how tapping on the guitar works. I'm going to start this episode off by showing you what we're not going to be doing, okay? We're not going to be doing this. We're not going to be doing this. Alright, this is where we live. This is where you and I live for now. If you've never done tap before, I want you to go. Alright, so you're going to go A, C, D, and bend to the E, which is this note, or the open string. And then you're going to reach out with your forefinger, tap and release, and then bend down. I put an extra note in there, I didn't mean to. So it's a... And I'm using whammy bar there. You can use whammy bar, you can use left-hand vibrato. Okay, so I'm going to try and cover a lot of information very quickly. So the idea is that when you're reaching out with your forefinger, you're kind of pressing down hard enough so that the flesh of your finger is creating an imprint around the string, and as you lift it away, the string kind of gets plucked by your skin, you know, kind of pulling the string away. Sometimes I'll give it a little sideways. That's exaggerated, but just a ever so slight kind of sideways as my fingers pressed on, so it just kind of doubles the amount of energy that it's going into the string to make it vibrate as my finger lifts off of it. Let's see here. A couple of things about this is that there are variations on this that you can do. You can that's a multi-tap. That's it's basically the same thing. Tap at the 12, then tap at the 14, then tap at the 12. Bend down. Give it some whammy and let it slide. So then the other one is that you can go. That's kind of a tap and bend. Alright, so that's basically it. Hello and welcome to Episode 5 of GTR. This is Tapping 101, and this is a specifically designed exercise for beginners to intermediates. Specifically designed for people who want to learn how to do tap, that have never done it before, that kind of find it mystifying and alien, and this is kind of where it all starts. So I actually designed this program, or this exercise, because I actually had a student of mine who is fairly advanced and is actually well-versed in the classical rock genre that didn't know how to do tap at all. He had absolutely no idea how to do it, and it was completely alien to him. And so in teaching him how to do tap, the hardest thing for him to learn was that initial, that tap, and how to sound the note when he taps on it, and how to sound the note when he pulls his finger off. It's essentially a pull off. It's a tap pull off kind of deal. So how we're going to do it today is we're going to slide it into that A. I'm going to take that C and that D, and we're going to bend that to an E. And then with your finger, you're going to reach out with your on your right hand and tap at the 12th fret. Now the idea is that the pad of my finger, the flesh of my finger, kind of wraps around the string as the string creates an indent on the pad of my finger. And I'm pressing hard enough so that when I pull my finger away, essentially the pad of my finger is kind of pulling the string with me and activating the string, causing it to vibrate. Now I do give it a little bit of a... That's an exaggeration, but when I hit that, when I tap with my right hand, with the fingers of my right hand, I'm giving it ever so slight sideways tug on the string, just ever so slight, to give it just a little bit more energy for the string to ring out. So that's essentially it. Tap at the 12th, pull off, unbend the string, give it some vibrato, and that's essentially the technique. Now I want to talk a little bit about the notation of this too. I'm using Aerobus Music's Guitar Pro 6. When I actually sat down to write this down on paper, I realized I had never actually notated this technique before. And if you look at the notation, it says to bend it up full, and it kind of gives the impression when you do the tap that you're like releasing the string and then bending it up again full and tapping it at the same time, and then releasing it and then bending it up again and then unbending it. I find this notation kind of a little bit misleading. It's kind of the convention for the way we do things right now, but I'm a little bit concerned that none of these markings are actually on the staff above it where the actual sheet music is at. This is all happening on the tab line. And like I said in the intro of this program, guitar is just barely over 100 years old. I think the first electric guitars were made by Les Paul in like 1930s, 1940s or something like that. As such, the convention for writing down in sheet music, some of it's kind of underdeveloped when it comes to the guitar. And we're always kind of constantly looking for new ways of doing things and new techniques, and sometimes the method by which these techniques are notated in music have yet to catch up. So I just want to say that if you're looking at that can be slightly confusing, but it is the convention. And for now, it's the best that we have. It's cool that we have this relatively new instrument that's still in its infancy and people are still learning how to do cool things with it. So that's all I have for you this time. GTR Episode 5, Guitar Technique Review. My name is David Jaedyn Conley, and if you're a Facebook user, why not drop by and visit us on Facebook? We have a Facebook page for GTR. If you do a search for GTR, Guitar Technique Review, it'll come right up. And give us a like. We'd really appreciate that. Okay, well, we'll see you next time.